Sheikh Jassim of Qatar and Sir Jim Ratcliffe are among the suitors for Manchester United. And why wouldn't they be? One of the world's most popular football clubs is on the market and should rightly attract interest. However, reports indicate bids upwards of £5 billion are also not meeting Glazer expectations, rumoured to be between 6 and 7 billion. So, are the Glazers right? Should they be holding out for more? And how much is Manchester United really worth today? It's worth noting that ultimately an asset is worth a different amount to each buyer. For Qatar, for instance, the impact of owning a global mega brand such as Manchester United could be worth much more than the simple financial worth of the asset itself. Qatar tourism could see a massive uplift as a consequence, for example, extracting a benefit that wouldn't be available to any individual or consortium. As such, we won't be factoring this into our analysis, as it wouldn't be possible to estimate accurately. So with that in mind, there are 4 approaches that we'll take to value the club, each of them typical of the methods used to value entities listed on the stock market. The first is market capitalization or market value. This, simply put, is the aggregate value of Manchester United's stocks or shares. The current, the latest at the time of writing this video, share price is about $22.5. There are about 165 million shares, valuing the club roughly at $3.7 billion or about £3 billion. Now, it's important to remember that this method is sensitive to changes in the dollar to pound exchange rate. And let's also remember that market value doesn't translate exactly to purchase price, but it is a helpful indicator of what the public markets currently think the club is worth. If we were to check the valuation at the highest share price in the last 5 years for United, which is roughly $26, the valuation would be about $4.2 billion or £3.4 billion, which is still well below the Glazers' expectations. The second method we'll use is total enterprise value, which adds on the net debt, calculated as gross financial debt less cash balance, to the market capitalization. According to the latest Q1 2023 financials, United's gross financial debt is about £680 million, and the cash balance is about £24 million. This translates to a net debt of £656 million, and therefore an enterprise value of about £3.66 billion. Enterprise value is again commonly used as a method of valuation, and the reason is the net debt is technically something any new buyer is paying off or buying out as part of their bid. Now let's look at multiples. Profit multiples are inaccurate to use for football clubs, as they are loss-making entities in most cases. Profits for football clubs are also very volatile, swinging dramatically year on year through unpredictable factors. Profits can also be artificially inflated in any given year through clever accounting. For instance, player amortization often makes in-year profit look much higher. All of this makes the profit multiple approach less accurate, and therefore we won't use it. So we'll focus instead on the revenue multiple. It's less volatile than profit and also less distorted by accounting idiosyncrasies or adjustments. It can also obviously never be negative. So the next question becomes, what is the correct revenue multiple? Well, let's look at the recent sale of Chelsea as a guide. Chelsea were bought for £2.5 billion and, according to recently released financials, had a revenue of about £480 million in 2021-22. This translates to a revenue multiple of about 5.2 times. And this is a very healthy multiple and one that can be expected for a Premier League top 6 club. Let's also assume that since the Glazers know this, it would be the baseline for any revenue multiple considered to value Manchester United. They would fairly expect United to be worth at least as much as Chelsea, especially given the recent resurgence under Ten Hag. So at a 5.2 times multiple and a revenue of £583 million, Manchester United's valuation lands at about £3 billion. If we use United's revenue outlook for next year, which is £610 million, then it translates to a valuation of about £3.2 billion. The Glazers' expectation of £6 billion translates to a revenue multiple of 10 times, which is double the Chelsea multiple, and that's already considered a very pricey sale. Now, finally, let's look at what some reputed entities are saying about Manchester United's valuation. Forbes, in their annual valuation of soccer teams, valued United at $4.6 billion or £3.7 billion in May 2022. Their approach is proprietary, of course, but builds in forward-looking estimates on commercial, match day and broadcasting income, and values all assets, including the stadium. The Financial Times, in a recent article, valued Manchester United at around $1.6 billion or £1.3 billion. They used a discounted cash flow method in which they estimated United's cash flows for multiple years into the future and totaled the value of those cash flows today. Football Benchmark, another reputed entity, also factors in things such as social media followers. Even they have United at £2.4 billion. So, however one cuts it, by whichever approach, Manchester United is probably worth at best between 3 and 4 billion. But of course we started with a big caveat, and we come back to that. An asset is really worth as much as its importance to a buyer. And the Glazers no doubt understand that. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.